Hey there, everybody. This is SXE Blues, and what I'm bringing for you today is some more theorizing along the lines of Doctor Who Series 6 and potentially 7. I got a comment from user HelluoLOTR. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but in any case, some really cool ideas about potential avenues that Stephen Moffat could go down with how the story's going to unfold. Everything from who the girl in the spacesuit is, to what's up with the, death of the Doctor, to who River Song is, and so on and so forth. And does this potentially all tie to something from our past and the Doctor's past? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this comment and then just kind of roll with it and, give my thoughts on it. So they say, I just rewatched The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances, both written by Stephen Moffat. It's the same child's voice. Are you my mummy? The child is super strong, just like the one that broke out of the spacesuit, meaning from the episode Day of the Moon. At the end, the child is saved because the nanobots recognized the superior DNA of the mother. What if the nanobots recognized the superior DNA of the Doctor and transposed them onto the child? And Captain Jack's spaceship blew up over the Earth. It happens during World War II. The 11th Doctor goes to meet Winston Churchill during World War II. I have heard rumors that we are going to see Winston Churchill again in a future episode and that he may be, quote, the good man, unquote, River kills. Could Captain Jack's spaceship have crashed to Earth after it exploded? Is this the 20 or so techs combined to create the suit? The spacesuit? And now call me crazy, but what if, and I think it would be uber cool, but probably not likely, what if River Song is Captain Jack? Yeah, probably not. And goes on to say, man, if Moffat is going to tie his entire storyline back to the Empty Child Doctor Dances, which is his first Doctor Who story he wrote, man oh man, that would be fantastic. And there was also a follow-up comment that I'll just go ahead and skip to real quick, which says, didn't River Song have a blaster that looked just like Captain Jack's? Also, the child could make phones ring just like the phones rang in the White House for the president. So, basically, I think I sent a message back to this person saying, again, HelluoLOTR, saying that, for a long time, us, Whovians, Doctor Who fans, and fans of Stephen Moffat's work, we've noticed time and time again that there are similar themes that seem to keep cropping up. As I Just Subscribed Now, friend on YouTube, has mentioned in videos, and some of his commenters have mentioned to him, the fish references, the fish sticks or fish fingers and custard, whatever it is. I forget the name of there's a reference in The Impossible Astronaut, I believe, where River and the Doctor confirm through their, time diaries of meeting, Jimmy the fish or something. I forget the name, but you get the gist. There's many, many times, and similar themes with some of Moffat's, monsters. If you go back along some of the videos I've made as well, I've mentioned similarities between the Silence and other Doctor Who aliens, as like the Ood and the Krillitanes and so forth. So there are definitely similar themes that seem to continually crop up in some of Stephen Moffat's works. Now, as I said in the message I sent to this person, we've always assumed that it's just kind of coincidence that he just likes to reuse certain storytelling elements, themes. But the question is raised by what this user mentions that I just read. For me anyway, a lot of, sort of high hopes and expectations as to where the story of the Doctor, Amy, Rory, River Song, where that all could go. Could it be not in fact that these are little coincidences, but could it be the little clues that are ever present, and refreshingly so because they keep cropping up again and again? Could they all be telltale signs that this all goes back to the first episodes that Moffat wrote in the new series, The Doctor Dances and Empty Child. I think there is a tremendous chance for this to be epic. If it did somehow, and going specifically to little, plot points, the idea that Captain Jack could be River Song, well, people seem to accept readily that Captain Jack was the face of Bo, just because he said he was, as a young man, the face of Bo, the poster boy, if you will. And that, I thought that was very interesting, definitely. But I also kind of was hesitant to readily accept it. I just thought, it could be one of those cosmic coincidences, storytelling-wise, in the universe of Doctor Who. But I really love the kind of aspect of how this whole story, starting back with the Ninth Doctor, coalescing through the 10th to the 11th, and then, coming to a head, so to speak. If River Song was in fact Captain Jack or related to that character in any way, shape, or form, there's the theories about Amy and Rory's child, and could River be Amy and Rory's child? Could she be a Time Lord? Could the girl in the spacesuit be a Time Lord? So many potential avenues, and it's, whatever the outcome is going to be, there's a 50-50 chance that fans and Whovians could be excited and see it as an epic, grandiose story, or they could end up being let down. And I don't know, frankly, what would make me the happiest. I just want to see a good story. The idea of, all the things I just mentioned that this, YouTube user mentioned in their message, these are all really epic potential things. But again, the likelihood is really questionable as to whether Stephen Moffat would actually tie it all back to that. And even if he did, would that be greatly accepted, widely accepted, or would people go, oh, that's stupid? There are certain elements of the idea. I would almost rather see River Song be akin to Captain Jack than necessarily Amy and Rory's daughter, because when River Song first showed up in Doctor Who, I just got this sense that her story was greater. That I kind of feel like the only reason River Song is around is because of a future companion we never knew at the time would exist. Finally came along, and then boom, pumped out a kid, and there's River Song. It just kind of doesn't, for me, it doesn't feel as epic as to go all the way back to The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances with this kind of theory that I just previously mentioned. It seems much more epic and grand, if you will, to have a story that would tie back like that. Elements like, and keep in mind, we're going to be seeing Sontarans again at some point. We're going to be seeing Romans at some point again, and potentially Winston Churchill again. And it could really just go anywhere. It really could. The fact that River Song had the blaster like Captain Jack, how flirtatious she is with the Doctor, it seems to me like the one person Captain Jack does not successfully flirt with is the Doctor. Put that in a woman's body, and who knows? I mean, maybe that's all it takes to, get the Doctor's eye or something. I don't know. It definitely seems like there's timey-wimey craziness going on with River Song, and that seemed to be the gist of what Captain Jack's life was like, and I guess you could kind of say still is in a sense because he's kind of immortal now, but the idea that, the spacesuit could have been created by future technology, sort of, backwards modified by British agencies and things like that. With that spacesuit, it defies my logic. It really does, because depending on what kind of technology it was, it is kind of similar to, if we go back to the two-parter Dr. Dance's Empty Child, reverse those names. But if we go back to that, the hospital or ambulance-like vehicle that Captain Jack is trying to pimp off on the Doctor and Rose before he finds out they're not, fellow time agents, or they're not con men or whatever. I don't remember specifically the details, it's been a while, but it kind of, again, a similar theme. An alien vessel or an alien artifact that is meant to be life-sustaining. The spacesuit is, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same. We assume that the Silence created it, but I don't think that was actually specifically referenced in either The Impossible Astronaut or The Day of the Moon. I don't think they, and by they I mean the Doctor and River, when they're looking over the spacesuit, I don't think they have really too much of an idea what the origin of the spacesuit is, even, investigating it, looking it over. But it, again, it's kind of like a similar theme, a thematic edge to it. Arguably, the World War II thing with Winston Churchill and everything, Stephen Moffat wrote The Empty Child and Dr. Dances. Mark Gatiss wrote, or Gaddis, I'm not sure how his last name's pronounced, but wrote the Dalek episode, the name escapes me, but where Winston Churchill, appeared, World War II time period. And I'm wondering now, because I remember seeing some kind of interview with Mark Gatiss about Stephen Moffat's input into the outline, where he wanted the story to loosely go. And I don't remember if that touched on specifically having it be set in World War II. But if it was by Moffat's hand that it was set during that time period, all of a sudden this becomes very interesting. Because if it was his input, that kind of lends a little bit of credibility to this theory, that it could all tie back to that two-parter. And that what we're basically seeing is an evolution of a small handful of characters over a tremendous amount of time. Again, with, you look at Series 5 and the way the timey-wimey, as I pointed out to the user in the message I replied with, we all thought that in the Big Bang, I think, when, in the Weeping Angels episode, we thought it was a potential editing mistake where you see the Doctor and he's not wearing his suit jacket. Then suddenly, when Amy's eyes are closed, you see him again, and he is wearing it. And we thought it was an editing mistake. Turned out, no. By the end of the series, you find out it was all an elaborate storytelling device by Stephen Moffat. Timey-wimey, as I say, which is the term he coined for it in the original Weeping Angels episode Blink. But he definitely, I don't know that he would have the precognition of writing all the way back then, when he wrote The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, to, put these story staples in for a future time to come back to. I don't know if that's how elaborate the story is, or if he's sort of doing a George Lucas and he had some plot threads that he always liked, and now that he's in, he's the showrunner and he's been on the show for a little over a year, maybe 2 years, he can suddenly go back to it and weave this great, tremendous story. Is the story going to go that way? I don't know. Could this child grow up to be River Song? Potentially. Could she be not River Song and a Time Lord? Potentially. Could she be a human child that is being genetically modified by the Silence or another foe? Potentially. All these things are just fantastical, and it could go anywhere. So that's all I'm going to say on this for now. Let your imaginations just set aflame, because mine definitely has with this idea. And thanks to this user for this, message. And I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what you think. Peace.